Beach Utilities Commission to order, please, because I would stand and say the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Commissioner Kelly, do you say the invocation, please, sir?
Dear Heavenly Father, we're just thankful to be in your presence this morning. We're thankful for the blessing of this wonderful city that we live in. Lord, we just ask you to put a hedge of protection around all who work at the utilities, and especially with this weather that we've been having. Lord, keep them safe, keep them from harm, and we just ask you to bless all that we do. Give us wisdom to make good decisions. In your mighty name we pray.
No, I just need to be there to get the thing by 12:30.
Heather, wait till we get through with the prayer, girl.
Can you hear us?
That's Reverend Kelly.
Just got through the invocation, we're starting.
All right, thank you very much, Commissioner Kelly. Ms. Simmons, you call the roll, please, ma'am.
Commissioner Smith,
Here.
Chairman Davenport,
Here?
Commissioner Conrad,
Here.
Commissioner Devine, Commissioner Kelly.
Here. Thank you, Ms. Simmons. All right, item number 1, discussion, concurrence, this is the final development agenda for 7/2026 with our joint meeting with the city and our workshop on Smyrna Beach Utilities. All right, number A, the joint city and SB workshop agenda. Draft completion all requested, attached. Want to talk about that? Who would like to start out? Commissioner Devine?
Yeah, I think there's 2 topics. One is that one of the commissioners from the city wrote to the commission and had a set of questions. And I took a crack at a draft response. That's one, I think we have a decision there to make as to whether we should respond. Is that an appropriate response in the draft? Do we want to shape that some more? And then I think the second topic is related to the agenda for that meeting, and how we go about that part of any agenda that we might have with the city.
Well, let's look at our agenda first, at item A, and then we'll back into it with what you just said there. And then, and by the way, I read, that was your response, Commissioner Devine?
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
excellent.
Excellent.
It really was. It was thorough. I mean, it covered every area. There's some other areas I'd like to address, which we will. But anyway, we're looking at the agenda here. You've got it in front of you. On this, I would make a suggestion if we could, when we come down to presentations and topics, I would like to see Ephraim and commissioners personally. I would like to start out with, besides strategic planning, the interlocal discussion, and talk about the annual budget. I'd like to start out by reviewing a quick Cliff Note version, Ephraim, and Cody, of our report from our annual audit and how superior it was. I want that started first, okay? And then I would suggest we start there, given the accolades to this organization and how there at time was some discussion, and look where we are and where we're going. Now, the next thing after that, I would pull back up the, regarding the budget and talk about the budget and the note series under that, and then move strategic planning underneath those. That's the way I'd like to see it flow personally. Any comments or?
Could you go through that just one by one again?
Yes, sir. I'd like to see, number A, I would like to see just a quick review, a review of the audit, and I'm talking no more than 3 minutes, just a commentary that I'd make of how well this organization's doing. That would be number A. And then number B, to me, we would bring up, if you'll look, you see C on here, discussion requirement for the annual budget submission. Let's talk about that. Let's bring that up to B. C, bring to B. And then let's talk about the money first, is what I'm saying. And then number D would come to C. I don't want to confuse anybody, but we update our revenue note. Now we've talked about the money. That's out of the way. And then we come back to strategic planning. That would be D, and then E would be the interlocal agreement. Does that make sense to everybody? Just kind of a flow. I like to talk about the money. I don't want to jump around. I'm gonna just go through it and check, check, check.
I think we'd have to be pretty disciplined on the content of that, like on the budget.
Oh, it's gonna be simple. I'm just gonna share, Commissioner Devine, right at the beginning. I'm gonna read a quick Cliff Note version of how well we've done. It's right in the areas of commentary. So they'll know that we're good financially. Don't worry about it. Here it is too. If you want further information, I'll get it to you. We'll get it to you.
Yeah.
So that's what I don't want to get deep. I don't want to get in the weeds. But I wanna
was-
address
That
it.
was the point I was.
Yeah, oh no, we're not, no, and that's another thing. We could sit here, and we all know this. I got to thinking, if each one of us, there's 5 of us up here, each one of us started talking, I think of the former yacht club meetings, Jeff, Commissioner Vine. Everybody, there's 9, everybody had to talk for 10 minutes, and they drag it out forever. Let's get to the point, make sure we have a good understanding, and we're communicating. That's the reason we're meeting, to let them know where we are, and we're gonna communicate. So, and if they got questions, let them come to us, but we'll have the answers for them.
I guess my only comment to that is that, and it's probably from an overall presentation topics number 3 perspective, this doesn't show any jointness at all between the city and the NSPU. And I don't know whether it's implicit in it, but where are we doing something jointly
I
in
think
this
A is definitely a joint.
agenda?
The 3A is definitely a joint.
Under-
Western complexes.
Okay, that current format, yes.
I
And,
think that is very intertwined.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think you can be prepared.
Probably Lisa could address it better, Commissioner.
There'll be lots of questions from the city commission on some
Yep.
of that, so.
It'll be definitely interjoined in that topic, and then interlocal will be interjoined.
Yep.
I mean, everything here will be interjoined. Once-
I think going back to this budget, and there's just so little time, I think it would be wise to, you know, as I kind of put it some time ago, just some really high-level stats of the 3 legs of the stool. So not just the financials, but there's great work being done in reliability, there's great work being done, you know, we're still in the top 10% of the lowest ratepayers in the state, and then our safety is outstanding as well. I guess I just would think we'd want to show the balance between these 3 legs of the stool if we're going to just be focused on the budget. Because I know the city commissioners have expressed in the past concerns about reliability, and if there are some easy stats about that we could share on reliability as well as, you know, the budget and how that high-level plan for 27 is shaping.
Well, I feel this, Commissioner Vine. I like your idea of reliability and your continually 3 legs, but at the same time, I just want to give Cliff Notes the big picture. Want them to know here it is and get to it. And the reason is there was some questions in the past. And another reason, not to get too deep, you got to remember, we have a budget over here that's a pretty substantial, but nothing like the city. The city, that's why we're elected here, to watch it. And that's all we're doing. All we're doing is confirming where we are. That's what I'm trying to say. Again, I don't want to get in the weeds too deep. It's just, I want to reinforce this from us sitting here, all of us, and you sitting there. Here's where we are. And so, keep it simple, lay it out there, and move on. And, because the city has appointed us, and they've got a huge, huge budget that they have to look at. And then we'll get into the other. But, just real simple.
Yeah, I'm totally agreeing with you, especially on simple, to the point, but I think we should be talking about more things than just the budget. I think we.
That's what we're gonna
should have
talk
an
about.
A balanced approach, and if that's what you're planning, it's not written here.
No, it's not written here because we're just taking,
Yeah, I mean.
we're just taking the big
Commissioner
picture here
Vine,
now,
I think
Commissioner
there's
Vine.
like one slide for
What?
the budget.
Take your microphone.
Sorry, thank you. You know, one slide on the budget, one slide on, and if I had to pick a slide for the budget, it's where our, you know, we're showing that our rates are still in that, you know, first or second slot in the lowest of the state of California. Something around our reliability,
Florida.
and then something around how the safety has progressed over the last year.
You got those notes, Cody and y'all, just 1, 2, 3, that's all we need.
I will affirm that, focus on the budget, but the reliability issue, I mean, the commissioners get a call. If somebody's power's out for 2 minutes, it's an absolute
Isn't that
crisis
truth?
type thing. So, you know, they get the calls on it, you know, type
All
thing.
right,
So-
so that's a good one right there, Commissioner Kelly.
Yep.
Let's go back over what I suggested, make sure you're okay with the layout, where it flows, the money, if I will, like I said first, and then come down to, we'll talk about the budget and the other areas listed on here, and then the planning, and then interlocal come last. But bringing there, what Commissioner Kelly, where could we put the reliability in here? Because they want to hear that, because they get calls too, we get them. And so we could definitely talk about that with our KPI.
Yeah, I think some type of opening line, to your point, with the 3 pillars in there, but if, you know, if one, you know, you being the chair, you can just open it up with that and do an overview, like you said, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, hit bullet points and
Move on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, let's do that. I like that very much. What we said, summary of our budget, where we are, and please comment. Summary of budget, the liability, what we got, and the reliability part with the KPI.
And I would think to maintain the focus on the joint portion of this, this will be just a quick opener. I would say, I think we could have it in one slide just to talk
Yeah,
about it and be
that's
done.
Exactly where.
Simple.
Because time is of the essence with this meeting, just because there's so many topics that
Yes,
are
Ju-
more. What was that?
What is the time frame?
5 o'clock.
Is it 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours?
It's-
Is it unlimited time?
It's unlimited currently.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so, thank you. Let's start with what you just said there, what I suggested. And
What is the content of C, the interlocal, or sorry, the B?
B, what is the content?
Yeah.
Basically, I'll give a cliff note. Heather, you're on the line, right? Heather?
I am.
Okay, just give us the Cliff Note version. I know what it is, but I want to hear it. Commissioner Devine would like to hear it, please, from you regarding number B, interlocal agreement between the city and New Smyrna Beach, please. Thank you.
The interlocal agreement with the city of New Smyrna Beach covers the sale of properties or leasing of properties that are owned by the Utility Commission. And there is a process in there as to how that's done. In order to have approval by the city, they have to have unanimous approval for the Utility Commission to sell or lease or transfer property. And I think one of the things that Commissioner Davenport had been looking at, or Chairman Davenport had been thinking about in the past, was how to change that process, how to make it so that it was just a majority approval by the city versus a unanimous approval by the city. Is that correct,
That's correct.
Chairman?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Ramus, that's correct. I'd like to discuss that so both parties, both commissions will know the process and what we have to go through. Example, we've gone, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Ramus, please. We've gone through all this discussion, Commissioner Devine, on the Westerly Complex. put the work in with getting RFPs, we put the work in with every area. Now it comes down, and I said this a few meetings back, I'd like to have a vote sooner rather than later if we're all on board, because we have to have a unanimous vote up here to, not to proceed forward, but when it gets down to the sale of the land or a condo, we have to all be in agreement. If we're not, then it's dead in the water. Is that correct, Ms. Ramus?
Yes, that is correct. And that process could be changed by amending the interlocal agreement, and an amendment to the interlocal agreement would just require a majority approval by the city commission for the amendment.
And that's what I'm suggesting, Commissioner Devine. I'd like to see, personally, I wish I had to do it over again. I wouldn't have agreed with it in the beginning. It came at us pretty in a different way. I just want to see a majority vote up here, or major majority. I don't want to see unanimous.
Yeah.
I think it's behooves us all. Commissioner Conrad, what's your thoughts?
Oh, I believe it should be unanimous, but, I'm one vote, and at the end of the day, it's gonna take us working together to make it happen anyhow.
Absolutely.
However, my other comment, what I started to say, which is why I think you asked me, if we are going to do anything to go from a unanimous vote, then at least a supermajority would be required.
That's good.
I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
And what is the advantage of a unanimous vote? What would you base?
I would say disadvantage more than advantage.
If you put plus and minuses, I don't see a plus side to unanimous on a commission, even in our city commission in New Smyrna. But to Commissioner Conrad's point, even a supermajority would be better than a unanimous. It seems like that's just.
I think those are designed to create resistance around change.
Yes, yeah.
Absolutely, it makes, so that's the, Commissioner Devine, does that answer your question, sir?
It does, but I'm not clear what is it informational? Are we making a request? I mean, well, I agree, I agree with the topic, but I'm not sure the timing of the topic for any kind of change or decision-making is appropriate. So maybe if it's presented as an informational piece of a future topic, we'll have to deal together.
Commissioner Devine, let me suggest this. I personally, I'm just one, I'd like to see this move forward because it's going to take several months. This is not an easy task. This has got to go over and up, back and forth between the attorneys, between Heather, between Ms. Ramus, between Ms. Avalon, between the city, between us. I just don't want to bring it up I either want to move forward. Either yes, let's try to get forward, or no, let's not. So I'd like to see this the way I'm going to have it, and I'm going to speak up at the commission, is I'd like to see us talk about it, make a decision sitting here jointly, and see what they want too. Remember, there's 5 of them, 5 of us, so I'm just making comments here. But that's my personal opinion. What's your thoughts, Commissioner Kelly?
I agree with you. I'd like to look at it, and I don't want to look at it just to talk about it. I want to look at it and talk about it to do something with it.
There you go.
I do think a change is necessary, and to, I think, Commissioner Devine's point, everything changes rapidly, but with municipalities and commissions and things, it doesn't.
Not at all.
Business people are very nimble. I mean, we have a meeting, we make a decision, and you implement it. And here it goes through a whole nother process, which is good. I mean, because it is, we answer to the citizens type thing, so.
Yeah.
Commissioner Smith.
I'm not disagreeing with it. It's just, I mean, we don't have anything in front of us to assess. I mean, what is it that we're proposing, I guess, is what I'm.
It's real simple, Commissioner Devine. What we're proposing is to bring it down from a unanimous with our commission, number one, to bring it down to a supermajority. I agree with both of you, commissioners. Bring it down to supermajority. So that's number one. Going from majority to supermajority. Number two is now the city commission, they can go from a supermajority, however they want, to a majority. They can leave it where theirs is, but I'm trying to speak for our committee. That's what I'm trying to get done for the future for us. Commissioner Smith?
Mr. Chairman, I'm a little bit confused. Then again, my mama dropped me a lot when I was a baby. But that said, back over a year ago, Ms. Ramos issued a memorandum about the Western Utilities Complex, and it listed 2 things that the Utilities Commission can't do with the complex. Now, this, what you're talking about here on the interlocal, was that going to change that we can do these things through the interlocal?
Ms. Ramos, did you hear that?
I did. So changing the interlocal agreement with how I understand Chairman Davenport wants to do it is only for the voting requirement for property to be sold or transferred out there at the Western Utility Complex.
That's correct. Commissioner Smith, it's just for.
So,
Doesn't change what the Utility Commission can and can't do with respect to private development, that kind of thing.
Correct.
so those
But it
2
wouldn't-
things that the Utilities Commission can't do still stand, and even after an amendment of the interlocal?
And what are those, Commissioner Smith, you're referring to, please, sir?
Well, I can read them if I can read them. Cannot enter into agreements with the developers to develop land for uses other than utility. Cannot develop, construct, or maintain property for anything other than such utility uses. Those 2, what can't be done are direct conflict of where we're going.
Why do you believe it's a conflict?
Well, you can't develop the property for anything other than utility use.
We're not gonna develop the property.
Well, they were talking about developing a property.
The only thing we're
No, sir.
talking about is, in the plan that we've designed, the only thing we talk about is the rezoning of the property. And that would be followed by a sale of the property.
That's correct, the sale of the property. And then that person, okay, so the sale of the property, here's where I'm going. Let's go from unanimous to a major majority. And that would give us the right to sell, and then a developer would do it himself, not us. Does that make sense? I'm just
No,
trying,
it doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, but
that's okay.
it's pretty clear here that you cannot enter into an agreement with developers to develop land for uses other than utility. And you're talking about hiring a developer to do that. Now, that's a conflict with I like to have Mrs. Ramos.
Yeah, there you go.
hiring a
Ms.
developer.
Commissioner Kelly, everybody, please, I just want to get Ms. Ramos to give us clarity on what Commissioner Smith is saying and coming from you. Thank you. Commissioner Smith, she's going to answer us.
Thank you.
The memorandum that I did was just to make sure that the Utility Commission stayed within the boundaries of the utilities. And if there's going to be an agreement with a developer for doing something above and beyond what the utilities can and can't do under their charter, then the city would have to be part of that agreement as well, which is very doable, but we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Does that clear that muddy water up just a little bit?
I think I can see a little bit.
Yeah, we'll get you some goggles here in a minute and help you out. But did that clarify, Commissioner Smith, for you, help you?
I understand. I think what we're saying, you can do this, provided the city is on board with it and agrees to it.
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So those restrictions don't apply if it's run by the city and they officially approve that that's...
Anything we do here, commissioners, the bottom line is, moving forward, we're going to do the best we can do. We all know that. But when we get through here, then it goes to the city. They got to approve it. They're going to put their stamp on it. And So we're all on the same page, and that's even more reason to communicate at this joint meeting. So we can convince them moving forward to, we're doing the right thing for the right reasons.
So the interlocal agreement amendments are really geared towards how the vote is taken
How to vote.
on issues, right?
Yes, sir. That's all it is.
Okay.
Again, going from 5 of us agreeing, to 4 agreeing, 1 not agreeing. That's basically, that's what you,
Why a supermajority and not a majority?
well, I like that even better, Commissioner Devine, so we'll talk about that with the city commission. We'll ask what they would recommend. We'll listen to them, and then we can decide which way we want to go.
Well,
Okay?
Yeah, the city gets to decide that.
No, we get to decide that, but we'll get their input. We can decide that up here. No, wait a minute, excuse me, I'm sorry. They have to agree. The city commission, Ms. Ramos, the city has to agree to move forward with changing this also, correct?
Correct. An interlocal agreement is just another word for a contract between between 2 local governments, and so that's why it's called an interlocal agreement. But that agreement was approved, and I don't know who drafted that agreement originally, but it was approved by the city commission, and it was also approved by the utility commission or by NSBU. So it will have to go back through the same process for an amendment.
Correct. And I was one who was on the board at that commission at that time when it was done, and that was Attorney Cloud, Tom Cloud, at that time. Were you on there, Commissioner Conrad?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Does everybody understand what we're trying to achieve here? It's just,
I do, and I just have one question for Heather, remaining question. So you described that as a contract between the 2 entities. What is the voting requirements for each of the 2 entities to approve that interlocal? Is it a simple majority, super?
Simple majority for an amendment. There's nothing in the interlocal agreement which says that in order to amend it, you'd have to have a supermajority or unanimous vote. So
Got it.
it's just like amending a regular contract.
So that's both for the city and for the utilities?
Correct.
Simple majorities. Thank you.
okay. So we've gone over, let's go back to the layout of the way we'd like to see it come about. Any more, does everybody agree with what I've suggested, how to approach it? I think the money first, talk about that. And then, the 2 last things here would be, next to the bottom would be strategic planning, and the last thing, interlocal. Or interlocal could be before strategic planning. So,
Well, I think it might make sense to talk about the Western Complex followed by the interlocal, so that they can see here's what we're trying to do, and this may require changes to the interlocal agreement.
so you want the interlocal agreement after?
I think after we have it.
That's what I was saying. I agree. Yeah, I
And
agree
then-
with, yes, sir, absolutely. So, Ethan, let's just go over what we said here and make sure we're all on the same page. Anybody's got any comments, and just, yes, ma'am.
I have one question for Commissioner Devine. This response to somebody on the commission that is going to go to all the commission that you drafted, did they ask all of these questions?
Those are their
or
questions verbatim.
specific questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Could-
Appreciate that.
And-
Yeah, we're
and
gonna
I-
address that in just a
Yeah.
minute. Let's
I
finish this
understand.
agenda. I mean, just so, because that needs to really be addressed. So do we understand, let's lay the agenda out, and then the next thing we're gonna do is talk about what you just said. If you don't mind, let's, Ephraim, you with me on everything?
Yes, so I believe, just to recap Debbie and the team here. So the very first, but a very short 1 slide, 3 legs of the stool, reliability or operational performance, finance, safety. That would be A. B would be the Is that the do we want to do discussion regarding the NSBU's annual budget? Because that was, oh no, that's it. So that would replace,
That goes right up there. That could be a discussion requirement for the annual budget submission.
okay,
We'll bring it,
Go
we'll,
back to strategic.
okay. And then do we go to next the strategic planning on the Western Complex?
no, we were gonna talk about D, the update on the revenue note. We just talk about the money, get
Okay,
it out of the way.
okay. So, revenue bonds and the associated capital improvements, okay,
Okay, and then next, Ephraim, please.
would be the strategic planning on the Western Complex, and then or the interlocal agreement, and then the strategic plan.
No, sir.
Just
Strategic
the
planning,
opposite.
And
just
then-
the opposite.
Got it. Strategic plan and then the interlocal.
And then the scheduling of future joint meetings, and then
Yep.
15 minutes. Okay,
And I heard this more than once, but that interlocal, we keep referring to the Western Complex, but this whole plan has 2 properties that we would sell, so it needs to be both
And it,
Canal and
Could be
Western.
more.
could be more, could be
Yeah.
swoop plant, could
Right.
be
So, I
a
mean,
lot of other
well,
things.
so it does, so the interlocal specifically applies to the Western Complex and the Canal Street location. The Swoop Street where our fleet maintenance is, that is owned by the city, so that is not our property. So the interlocal only applies to these 2.
Is that what the language is? Huh.
Yes.
Today's current language is, it specifies Canal and Western?
Correct.
Huh.
Only those 2.
Okay,
Commissioner, General Counsel Ramos, is that correct?
I'm sorry, Ethan, I couldn't hear what the question was before you just said, is that correct?
The interlocal agreement only applies to the Western Utility Complex property and the Canal Street building.
applies to anything, everything,
Well, if we're gonna change it, why
There-
don't we apply it to any properties?
I agree.
everything. That's what, Ms. Ramos, this applies to everything. I'm not just talking about,
I think it does. I don't have it in front of me, but there's an attachment to the interlocal agreement with a laundry list of properties, and I think it's all of the properties that were titled in the Utility Commission's name, but I'm not 100% certain on that.
I would like to see that checked out so we can talk about that with the city too, to make sure all properties besides just 1 or 2 or when we talk about it. Good point there.
Could I make a request?
Yes, ma'am.
Of staff to go back, actually, Ms. Simmons would be the person doing this, to go back to the minutes and go back to the minutes and the attachments that were reviewed on the agendas during the period of time that we discussed the interlocal agreement.
And send it to us,
Yes.
Ms. Conrad, so we can review it?
Exactly.
Thank
So
you.
that you have,
Great idea.
that you have the history of
Right.
why we ended up with unanimous instead
Excellent.
of,
That's excellent.
it may have been just not a deep, in-depth discussion, but if we have those minutes and that information, we at least know why we did.
Very good. Ms. Simmons,
You're back.
that's excellent, Commissioner Conrad. And also, if we could, Ephraim, please, and board, y'all tell me if you go along, I'd also recommend that you and Ms. Simmons, we send that over to the city commission and tell them, when we talk, just want to show you what we're reviewing.
Maybe it makes sense also at the same time to make a request of the city to provide that background information when they participated in the interlocal agreements, terms and conditions, and signed off on it, and what their thought process was at that point in time.
And plus send ours over there, what we
Right,
talked about.
right.
Yes.
So that we all have everything,
Prior
all that
to.
history out there, whatever it may be.
Thank you.
So,
Yes,
excuse
sir.
me,
Commissioner
Commissioner,
Smith?
so what are we going to do at this meeting? Are we going to say this is exactly what we're looking at changing in the interlocal?
Yes,
Or are we
sir.
gonna look at what you're talking about, that, and just give a heads up that we're looking at revising the interlocal for several different reasons, but there's no way we're gonna get that information you wanna have and then make a decision before the
We-
meeting.
All we're doing, in my opinion,
Well,
is
we can't-
communicating with them what our interest is doing, and our interest is looking to change it. What is yours? Let me say, no, we're not going to. Well, we're
good,
dead in the
good.
water. See, it's discussion, and we'll decide where we move forward from there after that.
And we can't make a decision
No.
at a workshop or a joint meeting. It would be something that we would maybe take up at the next workshop.
Right.
Or at the next commission meeting.
Correct.
If we
Right.
feel we're ready to take a vote on it.
So what are we gonna tell the commission at this meeting on this issue? So I'm clear, I'm sorry.
Okay, then I would make this suggestion, as I've spoke to a couple of the commissioners in the past, over the last couple of years, you've heard me talk about the interlocal agreement. Here's what it is, get Ms. Ramos, or I can explain it, y'all know. Here's what our board is intending, we would like to do, and want your feedback, and we would like to see it go from a unanimous to either a majority or supermajority. That's what we'd like to see. We want to get away from the unanimous is the bottom line. So what's your thoughts, City Commission? And then we'll come back, like Commissioner Conrad said, and we'll debate again, and then if we like it, move forward. Eventually, one day, it'll come to a vote. It may be a
Well, I would
month.
just preface it that we're in the process of reviewing the interlocal agreement. and
That's
we'd
it.
like to come back to the city with our suggested change.
That's
So,
it. That's the bottom line.
I do want to clarify just a bit, and Heather, Council Ramos will provide further. So currently, and Maureen is here that could weigh in, so when we have excess property, it's typically very small parcels. For example, several years ago, Chairman Davenport had bought that piece of property, then subsequently donated to build a home. Under those circumstances, where there's a specific process listed in our procurement manual, we are then able to then put it out for bid, solicit the bids, and then we then decide the best buyer based on that information. In those types of transactions, the city commission approval is not required. It is only our utilities commission here that governs those sales. The interlocal agreement, just to put, that was an overlay, and it relates specifically only to Western Utility Complex property and the Canal Street building. So back in December, Ms. Ramos had sent an email to myself and Debbie, and it's got Resolution 210, which is us, requires unanimous approval of by the Utilities Commission for the sale disposition grant permit license of Summerall of the 800 acres. So that's here. The interlocal agreement.
What is that?
I'm trying to answer her back.
We lost her and she came back.
Okay.
The
Thank you.
interlocal agreement provides that the 800 acres and the Utility Commission office building located at 200 Canal Street cannot be transferred in fee simple to any private property unless the property is determined to be in excess of surplus to the needs of the Utilities Commission. Unanimous approval is provided by the Utilities Commission, and approval by a supermajority is provided by the City Commission. And the city fails to timely exercise 30-day right of first refusal to purchase that property. So I want to clarify, as the utilities, we have determined excess property it currently does not require city commission. This interlocal in Resolution 210 specifically apply only to the Western Utility Complex and the Utility Commission office building.
So that could be subject to the amendment to include the other properties?
True, but then we would have to, so then just to clarify, that would then add an additional layer that is not in existence today for normal property. So I would caution, if we then open it up to then apply to all, that is a,
Well, the only reason we said all was because we assumed that that interlocal was dealing
With all.
with all, so.
and it is
I
not.
agree.
Yeah.
I would recommend maybe Ephraim and council specifically lay out some proposed language that could be sent out prior to this meeting, and maybe have an offline or, online open discussion, if that is the right language. It sounds like.
Yeah, and
That was a good ad that you just
Good
gave us.
suggestion.
And so let's really try to refine the ask before we get to the meeting.
Correct, because if we then do that, that would fundamentally change our operations and how we administer
That
normal.
would be much more restrictive.
Correct. So,
want that.
and I believe at the time that this was developed, since the sensitivity of the Canal Street location and the Western Utility Complex was very high, that's why this has that added, this interlocal in our resolution to just cover those two pieces of
Okay.
property.
And you can, excuse me, you can, Ephraim and Ms. Ramus, y'all can, come up with what Commissioner Devine just said, the language we proposing, would like to see, so everybody can be on board. That's a good, very good point.
Okay.
You can do that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Good suggestion. Commissioner Smith, you started to say something, sir?
I forgot.
Okay, I'm the same way. I do the same thing.
I'm with you.
We're all in the same, you're not taking your Prevagen? Okay. Excuse me. So next thing, can we move on right now? And let's talk about Commissioner Conrad, what you just brought up a while ago, these responses. Move to that, please. Is that okay with everybody? Everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, by the way, I'll start out. I read these responses and I feel like they're very, very good. So go ahead, Commissioner Conrad, please.
Oh, I
Right.
just had a question. I wasn't talking about content.
Yeah, I think we have two questions to answer. One is, should we respond? And then two, this is a draft response proposal. So
Okay.
I
Number
don't know
one,
if we want to take the first question
Yes, sir,
first.
we
Should-
do.
Should we respond?
absolutely.
I would, obviously, I think we probably should. I think it would offer efficiency in the meeting for this topic to be discussed. And I think it would just only
Okay.
help.
Let me remind you, all of us, of one thing. We talk about it. Should we respond? Absolutely. Why? Because we have to have city commission approval to move forward. So anything they ask of us, because they appoint us and trust us, we need to respond to them and let them know ASAP. So that's excellent job done here. And you're doing the right thing. Does Commissioner Kelly, will you comment on what, should we respond or?
I do believe we should be responding, and it should be transparent as what's going on. And, in the response, this is a plan. It's not set in stone, and this is what we believe is good for the future of New Smyrna as it moves west. So, and I think that's something that everybody needs to be aware of. It is moving west. That's
Okay.
gross.
Is there anyone that
wait,
disagrees we should not
Go ahead.
respond?
No, I think we should always respond.
Absolutely.
Good. So the
Okay.
second question, is this the right response?
I think it was, go ahead, Commissioner
I
Kelly.
read through it, Jeff, and I thought it was a good response. I think it addresses the main points. Could it be taken down a little bit? But I think it's great. It covers everything. I couldn't think of anything myself to ask on top of that. Maybe it's just because what I've already know from being on the commission. So somebody that, we might run it by somebody who doesn't know as much.
This is, Commissioner Smith, did you have something to say, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to have Ephraim's input on this, if it'd be all right.
No, I think it's a solid response. I think, you know, as the document goes into discussion of it, you know, number 4 is key. Will the sale of other NSBU properties cover the costs of the project? That is the objective, but, you know, we're in that process, so the numbers will play out as we receive the bids back from prospective developers. So this is where it'll be an iterative process where we start to compile the information, review it, and then we'll determine what is the status of the amount of proceeds coming in or the sales of the land versus the cost of the project and where those two end up.
It's like anything else when you, as a developer, and I developed for 25 years, a lot of property, millions. And before I did anything, I backed into it. I'd take this big picture and I'd figure out, okay, I'm gonna sell this piece, get that, we're gonna do this, and get all the way back. Is it gonna work or is it not gonna work? And that's what this way anybody, a developer's gonna handle this. They're gonna back into it. So, a lot of work to get something like this off the ground.
The only comment, Commissioner Devine, that I would make is number 4. I guess we would make the same decision for the change in the use of any properties or any operations, and I just wonder if we really want to limit the ideally exceeds the cost of new turnkey Western Utilities Complex to only the Western Utilities and Canal Street property. I just make it a little broader.
Are you saying pull out that first paragraph?
No, I'm not
Okay.
saying pull it out, I'm saying just restructure it so that it explains that if we need to do something else to make this thing work, we have that option too, and it's not only limited to the Western Utility Complex. And I guess a perfect example of that, and maybe it's implicit to everybody, is, you know, what can we get the county to do? What can we get the city to do?
Yeah.
What are other municipalities or other agencies going to do to help us make this thing viable to cover all the costs? And ideally, it would be exceeding.
Yeah.
Right, and grants from the federal government on doing something like this, because you get grants, I don't know where they are, Julie, we talked about this in the last few years, and what you just said was excellent, Commissioner Conrad, to bring that up in there. But there are grants available where we're here now in a building that is not hurricane, if you will, pass certification. There's grants for, when we build our new building, it'll be hurricane, you can get grants for that for utility companies, it's out there. So that's excellent. Ephraim, we've talked about it.
We have, and I just want to caution, our success rate as it relates to federal grants for projects has not been very high, because a lot of under the current criteria, a lot of those items we don't have those characteristics. For example, we do not have a substantial low-income area. So a lot of those we don't. Now, in the case of Silver Sands, that was, since that is a critical area to the our waterways and our criticality there, that was why we received those grants fairly quickly in a good amount. So I just want to caution, grants are available. We have applied. We've applied for Department of Energy, and we just were not successful because a lot of the characteristics they're looking for, we do not meet. So, but we will, of course, investigate all options.
Well, when you apply for a grant, I'll just tell you what it is. You got to make noise. You got to talk to the State House and the people I know up there in Tallahassee that we've helped get there. Then you talk to them about, I need this. We need this for our city. Same way with Congress. We go up there and say, we need this for our city or our county. County, we need this. But Cody, you, and Ephraim, and I, and this board, I would like to know what grants are out there so we can start that process, because it takes, Ephraim, how long did it take us to get Silver Sands, and Julie, how many years to get that grant?
First one was 6 months, and then we went a year later for more.
It only took 6 months to get that one?
But that one, and like I said,
I've talked to him 7 years about it, so, go ahead.
no, it was tied to the Indian River Lagoon. That's why we were
Right.
pleasantly
But
shocked.
do you get where I'm
But
coming from?
No, no,
Cody,
we do,
everybody?
we do.
I want to be on board with this, because I want to help as much as I can.
Of course.
The way things have worked out, and the way
Of
I'm
course.
involved with these people.
And finally, if you look at the actual question,
Yes.
it starts as with, well, the sale of other NSBU properties. I just had a simple request to tweak a couple of words
Yeah.
in the first sentence.
Could you tell me how you'd rather see it?
No.
Be glad to change.
No, not that good at crafting. I just wanted to be able to encompass the fact that we're going, and you do that later on. You do that later on in the sentence by always improving processes and in all of our properties and all of the sites that we have.
Yeah.
But just where it says Canal Street property and selected portions of the western complex, just say all of the operational properties,
Okay.
or something to that extent that doesn't limit it.
Well, let's, I do have to, we have to be very careful. I think it's worded the way it's supposed to be, because per our bonds and our bond requirements, any operational property, anything that we have is in use and use for our operations. If we determine to something to be excess property, but in the current time, I'm not aware of any excess property. So I think having it selected portions of the Western Complex is appropriate. I do not want to add definitely operational property, because if we have the property, we're using it, and it's where our plants are, some facilities. Don't get me wrong, if there were an opportunity, we'd say that, but I believe Canal Street and selected portions is appropriate.
So what
Exact-
happens if we just take out those words from the Canal Street property and selected portions of the Western Utility Complex?
To
So
your-
that it reads, the Utilities Commission's intent is to structure a transaction in which the value realized fully funds and ideally exceeds the cost of a new turnkey Western Utilities Complex.
To your point, Commissioner, I think you could do that, and even the question that's asked is
Right.
somewhat not answerable. You know, we would
Right.
like for that. We don't know that. We don't know what this property will bring and the cost will be at the time.
Yep. And also,
But we're just.
we're not going to
expressing
sell
our
other,
intent.
Correct, that's correct.
but we're not going to sell other properties to cover the Western. This is totally, we're on focus here. They're talking about Canal Street and the Westerly Complex. We wouldn't try to sell Swoop Plan or some other properties. Like Ethan said, our bond covenants wouldn't allow any of that. So we're not going to sell any other properties to help us out. Is that correct?
I think that was Commissioner Conrad's point.
There you go.
Yep.
That's it. Does that make sense to everybody?
Correct, am I assuming correctly to eliminate that?
Structure a transaction in which the value realized, that could be almost anything. But it is related to the Western Utilities project.
And the canal.
And Canal, correct. Commissioner Devine, any more comments, sir?
Not for me.
How about Commissioner Smith? Yes, sir.
Always.
I
Always
think
have comments.
you're awesome. Keep going.
Now, I don't know if this falls under the responses to leave it the way it is, pretty much so, or with the revisions as suggested, or it would fall under just the discussion of the project itself. And, you know, we're gonna be facing a lot of roadblocks along the way, and no pun intended, the biggest roadblock is the extension of the highway, the Williamson extension. I would like to suggest that we take this opportunity to solicit the support of the city vis-a-vis the TPO to move this project, get it committed earlier than it is now, because nothing's happening for at least
10 years.
2030, right?
Right, and
So,
that's an
and
excellent
the
point.
See, the city is represented on the TPO, and they can lobby on our behalf. We're not a member of the PPO, never will be. But I think that's one thing I'd like to solicit from them at this meeting, is that their support to go through the TPO to move this project up in time.
I think it's an excellent idea, and hopefully, the way I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, the right developer will put the road in, but he will work with municipalities getting credits, because they get credits when they do that. However, I would like to know, Ephraim, if we could, who is on the TPO? Do we know anybody here? Commissioner Kelly, do you know anybody? Do any of us know anybody on there, so we can bring it up too?
Mr. Martin.
You're on it? You're,
I'm on the board for TPO.
okay, then would you speak up, and who else, who's the chairman of that board?
Eric Sanders.
How many members?
Well, the board has at least one possibility from each municipality in our district, which is District 5.
So,
So there's a lot of people.
okay, so
There's an executive board above our board.
would it hurt for us to submit a letter request, like Commissioner Smith just said, that what we're thinking up here to submit to you, and then start the process of get them thinking like that? Would that hurt?
It wouldn't hurt, and I'll put it through the technical group.
Okay.
Our technical rep.
Let's do that, please. Okay. We could, and then, thank you, very good, Commissioner Smith. I know sitting beside you all these years, this is a big, big, big concern of yours, and it is mine too, all of us. And you're right on that, exactly.
Thank you.
That's excellent, so there we go. All right, Commissioner Conrad, anything else on these questions? Did we answer your question? Yes. And we got it straightened out, Commissioner Devine, you okay with the wording?
I think if I hear from Ephraim, we should leave as is, or is there?
I'm good with I'm good with as is.
Okay, well, I'll make a comment.
Yeah,
This is excellent. Thank you.
And the only reason I would say leave as is because I do not want to mix operate any other properties. I mean, we could make it Canal Street property, selected portions of the Western Complex, and other properties. We can add that if that's, but we're going to do that regardless. So the primary intent is Canal Street and that Western Complex. So I'm good leaving it the way it is. I would ask Commissioner Conrad if that's acceptable.
Whatever the rest of you think is fine.
You agree, everybody? Commissioner Smith, you
Yes.
okay? I'm in agreement. Commissioner Kelly?
I'm in agreement.
Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Martin, I want to say thank you. These questions, these came from you, correct? Very good. It brought out a lot. I hope it answered most of everything for you.
I haven't read that yet, so,
You hadn't read it?
Hasn't been sent.
I haven't read the report.
Well, in my opinion, they're excellent. Just as saying. Thank you. Okay, let's move on now. Everybody okay to move on?
I think, Ephraim, if you'll send the response.
Yes,
back.
we will get that.
Okay, we're down to item 2, additional topics, future topics for the August 13th workshop. Any additional topics for the workshop?
Mr. Chairman, I think I brought this up at the last meeting about having a response to the Florida Trend article about water supply.
Yes.
Would that be possible to have at
About
a
water?
next workshop?
Yes,
Water
we,
supply.
we actually have a draft already. I just was finalizing it. And yes, we'll be at the next workshop.
Thank you.
And the next workshop, I'd also like to hear, please, the status of where we are on on our water out west, the pellet softening project, Ephraim,
Yes.
where we are on that. And I'd like to know, like we did total cost, where we are, just give me a down and dirty of where we are, what's going on. So
Yes,
it's a
and
great project. And again, just review the pros and cons like you did before, getting rid of the What did we get rid of? What's that, what's
The lime, the lime.
There you
Might as
go.
well call it slime because it is
I
very.
call it slime.
It's very how do I say, it's very, yes. Yes.
And we've got protection out there, Ephraim. We've got plenty of protection. We don't, what if somebody were to try to come and, I mean, there's so many weird people in the world today. What if they tried to come and poison our water? I mean, seriously.
No,
Do we have all kinds of security out there?
No, we do. We have cameras. We have 24-hour operations, a system operations group, in essence, that mans the plant 24/7. There's video. We have fencing.
So
Everything's in good condition.
Nobody could get in there and poison our water?
Correct.
Okay.
Of course.
They don't need to be in there.
Well,
Correct.
I just want to make sure they can't get in.
It's a very controlled access environment.
Okay.
But good questions.
It's a concerning question in this day and time. Okay, we're still, any other
Commissioner
topics? you wanna talk-
Davenport, I'm
Yes, sir,
sorry to go
Commissioner.
back. On the city meeting,
Yes, sir.
there's one page in the handouts here, excellent slide. I'm not sure who built that, but it addresses an issue we talked about, I think, last workshop, about the timing of the budget creation and the submittal to the city. And
Where are you, Commissioner Devine, right
I'm
now?
on this page that you see here.
Okay.
First page, go back. There you go.
All right, thank you. Now, go ahead, Commissioner.
Just as a
Thank you.
reminder, with the deadlines that we have today,
Correct.
we're creating our next year's fiscal budget with only 5 months of actual data. And this year, if you recall, we used that 5 months of data, we made a forward, some projections forward, but the result was that we had to submit a budget that really didn't do a good job of understanding how our current fiscal year would end. And if you look at kind of some of the data today, it suggests we're going to end very favorably at the end of the year. But that favorability, we've missed the opportunity to incorporate that favorability into next year's budget because of that 7/1 deadline we have. So there could be another potential item that we at least plant the seed with the city, which is a request to move our budget submittal from 7/1 to 9/1. Now, we can provide the city the top level important number, which is based on our revenue, which is the dollars that are turned from the UC to the city. That number can be submitted on 7/1, but the full budget submittal would be ideal if we could turn that in 9/1 rather than 7/1. And I'm not aware that the city does, much scrutiny with that budget for 2 months. They incorporate the revenue number that we deliver to the city, but the actual detail of the budget, I'm not aware that they do anything with our numbers until that 9/1.
The most important number that the city needs from us that we can provide early in the process would be that 6%. So,
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
most important
Which
thing
is
they want.
based
How
on our
much
revenue,
money?
which doesn't
Right.
change, that's very fixed, associated with our
Right.
rate plan. And that's a very stable number throughout the whole budgeting process. But the process we're using today is accelerating the creation of this next year's fiscal plan unnecessarily, in my view. So I'd like to request that we add this request to the city to move the submittal, with the exception of the revenue, from 7/1 to 9/1.
And in my opinion, Mr. Ramus, and hey, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but after reading everything, all of the requirements, we can't do this without a charter amendment. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And a charter amendment, we're not gonna have for how long now? How many more years? Let me see. I texted somebody last night that was on that board. I said, how many more years before we can change the charter? Let's see what he responded. Let's see. The city can call for one as often as they want. The charter states at least every 10 years, but it can be sooner. Okay, then there it is. We can request it.
Yeah, and just a very narrow charter change for this budget submittal would be the request.
Okay.
And we can ask both attorneys on both sides to maybe find
Yeah.
the cleanest, easiest way to go about it, but that would be, I think, one topic worthy of helping us long-term strategically come up with more accurate budgeting.
All right, let me ask, Ephraim, what's your thoughts on what Commissioner Devine's saying, please?
Overall, it is a budget, it is a forecast. We are, for example, we are going to do a 9+3 forecast that'll give an update on our projected year-end position. That'll be coming up shortly. It does add 2 additional months. It really comes down to the cost, and since it does require that charter amendment, would it be nice to get the additional 2 months? Yes, it would. It just depends on the cost benefit of this. At the end of the day, we do have to remember that this is a budget, it is an estimate. We will be generating more forecasts during the year. So that would, in essence, alleviate or at least give a better projection of what our year-end position is. The other thing is, for us historically, our hurricanes, at least over the last 7 years that I've been here, have been end of September into October. So they typically come at the very tip of the end of the fiscal year / cover start into the start of the new fiscal year. So that's where favorability or unfavorability, for that matter, in essence, with the unexpected hurricanes that we occasionally have, that would be the thing that could drive and eat some of that favorability now. But
Let me ask you a question. You're saying a hurricane could make this unfavorable moving forward because we're going to incur a lot of cost of have the people come in, and here we got millions of dollars out again, right?
correct.
Remember, it's just a budget. So that would be unfavorable
Correct.
if we had a hurricane. Makes sense, okay. Because we got to get our money back. We have to spend it. Got to get our money back from FEMA. Is that right, Cody? Okay. All right. So the hurricane, and when we have them, and for us, been around the bad ones. The airport up there, the way they set up, and have all those trucks and those people and feeding them. Yeah, it's a big expense in the Cody. So, Ephraim, I'm hearing you. So that wouldn't really be a positive thing to do then, is that correct? Either or?
Either or. I mean, it's
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and request.
I feel really strongly that, I mean, in creating a budget, which all of us have done for a long time, when you have more actuals rather than less
Oh, of course.
actuals, you'll create a more accurate budget.
Then let's request this.
That's the bottom
Yeah.
line.
Bottom line is, let's put that on this. Is that what you're requesting?
Yeah, that's, and
Bottom
the
line.
easiest, simplest path forward, because we're finishing this budget and turning it in, and it's the firm budget. We don't get another crack at it.
correct.
So why not
Have it.
complete it on 9/1 rather than 7/1, which
right,
would
let me
yield
add-
a more accurate budget.
Yep.
And we'll find the simplest
Thank,
way to do it.
thank you, Commissioner Vine. Commissioner Smith, you had something to say?
Doesn't the city have to issue some kind of
Oh, yeah.
thing in September?
They typically do 2 readings in September.
Right.
So that's typically, now, why it was always asked for earlier, maybe it was because of the revenues, I'm not certain. So this would make it for their 2 readings in September. Now, what I want to make sure is, we will not support 2 budget submissions. Ideally, we move it, if it gets moved from July 1st to September 1st, that is the cleanest way to do it once and for all. But we are not in favor of doing
Yeah.
2 submissions.
Okay,
would be
let me ask this
non-value-added.
question to the other. Commissioner Kelly, are you okay with this?
Mr. Chair, I'm fine with it. I think we put it in play. It's great to do that, but the forecasting and budgeting you can almost take the term and put a hyphen between the two when you do it. So that's what they're doing, and I don't want to create more work for the staff.
Right.
Preparing two budgets. It's a forecast at the end of the day, and we have variables in, you know, budget in some industries is fine. In this industry where there's a lot of variables involved, it's gonna, you know, create differences. But to the point there, if the city's okay with it, it works well for us. Commissioner Devine, it would be, works well for him, and staff is okay, then why not ask for it? But at the end of the day, they may not go along with that.
Okay.
Well, that's why we bring it
Let me see if I
up.
understand this
Commissioner
meeting.
Conrad, what's your thoughts?
It's an election year.
You're exactly right. They probably don't want anything else on their plate right now. I certainly wouldn't if I was one of those folks. Thank you. Very well put. But we'll still request that, Commissioner Devine. I'm okay with it, and I think everybody else is. So.
Mr.
All right.
Chairman, we're
Yes,
gonna add to the, when we send them the estimate of revenue, add to that subject to a hurricane?
We could.
Well, so remember, well, anytime we submit the budget, it is the best available, it's an estimate. So the payment to the city, like everything else, if there is, which we did have during hurricanes, the electric revenue does dip because of the outage. So at the end of the day, the city knows as well that it's an estimate. It could be more, it could be less. So, but it's implicit in that. You bring up a good point. It's a budget. It's not a guarantee that that is what they're going to receive in that fiscal year.
Okay, moving right along. We've got that settled, very good. I want to make an observation though on something that was said earlier about the sale of land. I purchased land through an auction, a bid. Maureen went back there. I think how many years ago was that, Maureen? 15 plus, 15-ish? At least 10, okay. So, no, I wasn't on the board then. This is my 10th year. So prior to me getting on the board a few years, I saw excess land. I saw this lot, and you're familiar with it. Commissioner Devine, your wife was there, and Ephraim, you were there. I don't know who, but I donated it to Habitat from me, and I put our name on it, Utilities Commission. So they're building a lady a house. She is the manager of Edgewater Humane Society, Stacy Wells. It's her first house ever. It's right down here 2 blocks from the middle school, and it's one of the greatest things I've been able to do. So it's coming along. Bottom line, I was not on this board when that happened. That's what I want to know, be known, okay? So, all right, anything else we need to cover here? Commissioner Devine, any suggestions? Commissioner Smith?
No, sir.
Mr. Conrad?
Yes, I have a comment to make.
Yes, ma'am.
I attended the P&Z meeting on Monday night, as did Commissioner Martin. And one of the discussions, and in my opinion, the biggest discussion, was the complex called Ocean Gate.
Yep.
Which is a 181 acre project. And the purpose of the hearing before P&Z and their ultimate recommendation to approve was a third amendment to the PUD for that property. During that discussion, it was the applicant made some comments about redesign in their PUD over the 7 to 10 years that they've been doing that PUD, I think.
At least, yes.
Commissioner Martin, I remember dealing with it even before that as part of a different project, not the UC. It was before EDAB, Economic Development Board. Well, anyhow, bottom line is they approved the PUD, and the two important things to me were the applicants saying they had to redesign. They just said, forget about Williamson Boulevard. We're just going to use Ocean Gate for our property. We don't care what happens with Williamson Boulevard. So there's going to be significant road change, and it's going to traffic change on 44, and potentially even that intersection at 95.
Yes.
But it's all going west, just like we already knew it was all going west. But it also had a change from mainly commercial and recreational to 200-plus residential units on it. That's a different density, and that was part of their work, was wanting changes in the FAR and the density for that project. It was a very healthy discussion. There was discussion regarding no discussion regarding wetlands, which was surprising to me, but there was significant discussion regarding the stormwater. And it was noted that from the proposal, it wasn't perfectly clear that they were paying enough attention to stormwater and the impact this project's gonna have. And the third reason I bring it up is that they put a cap on the development. They have to start development of the first phase within 5 years and complete the project within 10, Commissioner Martin?
I don't remember exactly, but I know that the racetrack fulfilled the original time requirement because they did something. We don't ask for much. We ask for, build a hut.
Is it,
Okay.
let me get clarification
Well, let
here
me
if I could.
finish.
Well,
I
I would
just
like
have
to know
one-
where the land is, what I'm trying to get
Oh,
mentally.
it's adjacent to 95
Is
and
it-
40, at 44, it's the southwest corner,
South?
going back.
Okay, so
It abuts to, it
the
almost,
racetrack,
yes.
it's on the west side of 95? Okay,
Which,
I got it.
Gas station.
Yeah, I've got it.
Right.
Is that, what's the
Oh,
guy's?
that would be fun,
Is
too.
that Snowden, is that Snowden's property?
Not
Sa-
anymore.
Yes, that's Snowden's, got it. I know where it is now. That's,
It's that property, but,
Bobby Luthra's group owns it.
got it, I got it. All right, miss, I'm up to speed now.
okay.
I wasn't, I was in another place, it's another location.
Okay, so I would think anybody who's proposing on our Western Utility Complex and the RFP or Q that is out there is going to find that information helpful to them in their planning. There's also that huge residential project that's even west of that on the south side of 44 as
Derrick.
well. And they're moving forward with that a little bit
Yes, they are.
faster than we thought. So the comment about trying to get this done on a faster timeline is going to require a great deal of coordination, but it's essential that it happens. This will go before City Commission at their meeting on July 14th, I believe, for their approval. Staff recommended approval and P&Z recommended approval of the variance for the new PUD amendment.
Well, thank you for that update.
Thanks for the update.
That's very good. I read about that. I happened to be looking at Facebook this morning because of corporate reasons, and it was really interesting to read about it.
I've
How
been following that property
But-
for 15 years.
so I've been following it for 50. I've known, literally, I bought land from the Snowdens, I was part of the Beacon Apartments, part of Limestone. Mr. and Ms. Snowden were great people back many years ago. Commissioner Smith?
You know it too.
You started out that, I hope I understood what you said, that they don't care about the Williamson extension?
Not really.
So
Go
how are we
ahead.
gonna solicit their
Commissioner Martin
support?
has a comment.
As far as I know, there is no budget for either segments of Williamson Boulevard, either through the Utilities Commission property or through Deering Park. So if you want to build anytime in the next 30 years, you probably should not take Williamson Boulevard as a given.
Well, the way I'm taking Williamson Boulevard is this. The developer is gonna have to do it to make it go in a time frame that we'd like to see. That's the only way. The county's not gonna do it. We've already talked to them. It's not on there, so you've got a very valid point here. But like you said, we've all said, you just said right then, Commissioner Conrad, there are a lot of parts to this puzzle, and I mean a lot. One of those puzzles I can't stand, to be honest with you. With 1,000 pieces, you know, you throw it out there, and
Right.
I go crazy looking at that stuff. But anyway, it's kind of an analogy I would give what we're saying here. Now, Commissioner Devine, I know you could put that puzzle together real quick, but I'd be a little slow at it. I feel you would. Any other comments, questions about the workshop today?
I do have one comment about, and it's a monologue a bit, but, you know, we're trying to push something to go fast. And, you know, there was no interchange where Pioneer Trail is 15 years ago either. So developers get involved and people in Florida get involved. And I think Commissioner Conrad made a point that it's an election year, right? And things seem to happen locally or not locally. But if you look at Indigo, I was on the city back then when they were planning LPGA out there, and they were just building a golf course. And if you look right there at the bridge that goes over to Tomoka River, because there's no agreements between the county, state, federal government, whatever, on that road, you still have a two-lane bridge going over this 4-lane road coming in and an interchange. And the same thing's gonna happen with Pioneer Trail. I think that eventually will force somebody's hand on putting Williamson in, you know, an extension through there. So I think out of need, sometime they seem to be able to find a budget somewhere to create a road when they need to. But I think that us going forward, we're gonna get some resistance on growth. I mean, if you look, you mentioned it, if you look on social media, I mean, it's everywhere out there. And, you know, in today's world, social media has a bigger impact than if you go out. You can't buy a newspaper ad. You can send out mail, but it goes, I mean, I take my mail and just dump it right in the garbage if it's a flyer or something.
Man, you throwing my picture away?
Yeah, I do. I save your pictures, buddy. I got it on the refrigerator. You know, so, but I think going forward, we all need to be aware that, you know, even Deering Park, look at the pushback on that.
Oh, yeah.
And Deering Park is a really well
Quality.
thought out, well-planned community. I mean, they considered the environment, they considered, you know, conservation land, the whole 9 yards in that. So, but
Yeah, they didn't miss a lick on that one. Well, you're right, you're absolutely.
we will get
correct.
some pushback, and the city commission's gonna get pushback, and the county's gonna get pushback, and.
Yeah, that's why I even brought up, and this is excellent to be talking about right now. I brought it up in the past. With this being an election year, like you're saying, we might wanna, I mean, we're moving forward, maybe slow it a little bit to get the election over with. We don't wanna put them we don't want the city commission to get boxed in here, you see what I mean? Does that make sense?
And they're not gonna do it.
No.
Yeah, and there's single issue folks out there that run on single issues, right? They go after a single issue, and it
And
can
boy.
detract from the overall good work. That's to your point, you know, with the interlocal agreement and having a unanimous decision. You can't just have a single issue person that is not focused
Right.
on the well-being and good of the whole community.
And,
So-
and another thing moving forward, what you said a while ago, Commissioner Conrad, is about the observation, that meeting last night. If and when this developer comes on, we know one of the biggest things they need to preach and talk about is that water drainage. I mean, that's got to be like big bold letters, how they're gonna
Yeah.
hold that water on that property. That's one. And number two, Commissioner Conrad's the wetlands. Those two issues right there are gonna be with road, but there's a lot of areas.
Well, we got all these wells out there and
Yep. And that's what we'll learn at our next meeting or workshop. What you just said is, Ephraim's gonna find out about the future of the water, correct, Ephraim? Talking about wells and.
Well, so what we were gonna focus on was the pellet softening and the progress. Oh, yes, the Florida
Commissioner
Trends
Smith.
article, yes, we have that, got it.
Right.
And what I was gonna, and to just further elaborate on that, we've drafted up some information about that, so prior to the meeting, we would send out a response to all the commissioners that talks about it, and we can have a further discussion once you receive the information, so.
I'd like to make one other thing. Last week, we've had these bad storms, and it was horrible, the lightning storms we've had. But my utilities were off almost 3 hours, and So I reached out to Efren and said, so he told me where it was. I got my car and drove up. Those guys, hats off to them. I mean, obviously the lightning quit, but they're up there in the trucks wherever. We're right here in Murray and
Orange and Mary.
and Orange Street. And they were doing such a great job. I told them, thank you. Anything we can do to help you guys ever, let us know. But golly, they work hard. I mean, they get after it quick. So if we could talk Efren even more about this, start bringing up how long and our, what KPI is that?
Yes, correct.
I'd
We'll
like
do
to
that.
see more of that and be more specific, just drilled in, not long cliff
No,
notes.
of course. No, and I do want to say that the lightning wreaks havoc. You know, you could put in all the the hardest of hardening of equipment, but that lightning zaps it, and we just have to get out there, and that's what we're always trying to look to. How can we isolate and restore where that outage is to minimize the impact to the other customers and get whoever's impacted. Try to isolate that and reduce that number, and then replace it as quickly and as safely as possible.
Again, in this joint meeting, that needs to be, please emphasize.
Yes.
Because they get calls, every one of them.
Yep. And I'm, my team and I am, fielding calls from commissioners, city as well. So as things come up, so we're always audit and responsive to them.
Well, and I called down here to the number, and the way they did it was just excellent. The way you call
The
it.
outage number.
Well, I had a similar experience. Looking out my window, lightning struck a pole and blew up a transformer. And I called in and they said, they gave a time when power was gonna be restored, and by golly, they were 3 minutes late. I'm just
I know you were mad.
No, I wasn't mad. No, it was amazing how fast they responded, and I was thinking how dangerous it was in the middle of that storm to even think about going up that pole. But they used good judgment. They were right on time, and I say they're only a few minutes from their estimated restoration. I was really impressed.
And our team, we've set up, Raquel, our electric operations director, recently revised the texting. So my leadership team also receives, we literally get every single, so we can monitor, we get real time of what, as the outages come in, we're getting text on them. So of course, when it's onesies, twosies, when it starts to become much more significant, everyone are monitoring it and making sure that we're restoring as quickly and as safely as possible.
That's what we want to emphasize. Okay, let me ask a question here. This is a workshop. I'm just curious sitting up here. Any of the managers, Cody, you got any observation you want to give feedback to us? I think we'd like to hear you if you do. Anything you've heard today, make a comment on or something you see? It helps us do better if you got your
The only thing I'll mention is any favorability that we get in this budget, and it goes back to our reserves. So it's money that will be going towards our capital projects, and then our next rate study will reassess those customer rates, so it goes back into our system. So basically, any savings that we'll get, well, eventually customers will see it through reduced rates, customer rates, and we will have less reliance on line of credits and debt going forward. So every 3 years, we do this rate study.
Correct.
We'll reevaluate how much we have in our reserves, and then that'll make decisions on what we have to do with the projects moving forward. So it all benefits the customers eventually,
Okay.
The customers and the system.
in the system.
Okay, good. Positive. Julie, you got anything to say about what we set up here, and you've been working so hard on everything?
No, I'm good.
You good? Anybody else? Comment? Maureen, you got anything? All right, I just like workshop, get feedback. Thank you. Go ahead.
I do have just a couple of quick things if everyone, so just, I believe I texted each of you the 250th celebration of the July 4th, the birth of our nation. Really great press and just on the fire hydrants painting and the judging. So that was actually made the local news. So that was really good, very positive. In addition, Ellen and the group, we developed, along with electric operations, new Sprint reliability YouTube video focusing on the North Beach and South Beach side improvements. So that's another one that came out, working with our local videographer, Brent, really good. He's been working with us for years. And then, so that's on that end. I believe Chairman Davenport communicated that he wanted to move the August 24th meeting
that's right.
to August 25th.
Could we do that, please, Commissioners? I'll be flying back on the 24th from a meeting I've got, and I'd like to have that meeting Tuesday so I don't miss.
Which meeting is that, August,
August, please.
regular?
Yes. Thank you, Ephraim.
I have one more thing,
Well,
unless
let's
you.
see if everybody's okay with
Okay.
this.
25th?
25th, please. Thank you. It seems like, everybody okay? Good. Good. Thank you. I appreciate it so
Hold on a
much.
second.
And we'll confirm that next regular meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate it, that everybody. Hate missing these meetings with everything that's going on like it is. It's very important. So go ahead, Ephraim. You had something else.
Yeah, just one last thing. We had, prior to the July 4th holiday, we issued to each of you the the RFP for the public relations firm. So we did get a comment back. We incorporated that comment to just really add in that it could be beyond the Western Complex, inclusive of Canal Street or other items. So just to know, we incorporated that feedback, and then that RFP will be going out this Friday. Now, there's still the evaluation process, so there'll be time. We'll bring back a recommendation, and at that point in time, we can determine if, what the commission will provide the recommended submitting winning selection or vendor. So.
Okay. One other thing, Ephraim, would you make a comment, please? Would you bring us up to speed on what we suggested to you when we did your analysis regarding leadership and what you're doing, how you're doing it? Bring us up to speed briefly, if you would.
Yes, so based on the feedback, in essence, just finished up a Wharton School of Executive Education on persuasive communication and leadership communication. Also have an executive coach that I work with. And actually, I will be submitting an update, as I did a few months ago. I'll be submitting one the next week or so that just kind of goes into some more details on the work that myself and the team have been doing. So, in essence, actions on everything that we've discussed.
Are you getting a lot out of it, Ephraim?
Yes, I am, very much so.
I'd like to read about that and hear about it. Be
Okay,
interested.
I will send an update. I did send one a few months ago, and I'll send another one.
Okay, thank
Is
you.
there a 360 you're doing
Yes, that's actually scheduled for this Friday.
with your staff or with us as well?
I believe it'll be the chairman and then staff.
I'm going to review that. Any comments you have, send them to Deb, maybe get them to me, but analyzing, watching it. I've read everything we requested. I brought that up, that we brought at the beginning. So if you got anything, please let Deb know and send it to me. I guess that'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Yes.
All right, good.
I don't think that, we can't send it directly to you, can we?
No. Can't send it directly. If you send it to Deb and get approval. We can always go through make sure we're doing the right thing here. Now, you can send it something personal to us, but not,
Yeah. but
okay.
not-
Thank you, Ephraim, that's good. I'd like to know who that coach is and everything. I'd be
Okay.
interested.
It'll be in the update that I send.
Like I have time to do it, but I'd look at it. Mr. Conrad, anything else?
No,
Thank
I would
you.
say something. I appreciate over all the years watching the things that you have done in this community and your great love for it. And you have been extremely generous. Sorry, you've been extremely generous. Particularly, I noticed to children and people who really need to have needs in their personal lives. And I'd just like to make a comment that I really have been impressed with the way you use your assets and what you've done for our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's very important to me,
I know.
coming here 51 years ago. And becoming successful, you give back.
Yes, you do. Very very generous.
You know, when you don't have any children or anything, you just try to help them. I'm sorry, but I love those kids.
We know.
Help them any way I can. I'm sorry, y'all. I get real emotional when I think of the children and how some of them are so lacking and they don't have the love. It just hurts, you know? So I do everything I can. It's like that house, that sweet lady, she's so excited. And Ephraim, I'd like to see you get a group together, about 3 to 5. So we'll set up a day to go down and work at the house, because that's part of this Utilities Commission. I know you've done it before, you laid sod.
Yep.
But thank you for the comment. I'm sorry, I just get really, when it comes to the children, that's just, there's a lot out there that need a lot of help. And I try to do, and I tell you what I do, I've got like a son in Cuba. I send him every month and talk to him. It's so sad. You can't put it in words how sad it is. Then I got another family of school in the Philippines. I have to send all their backpacks. And those little kids, when they send you the notes and they're standing there in the dirt, but they're going to school, it's just, we're so blessed to be in America. I'm telling you, we are blessed. Commissioner Smith, yes, sir. You ready for an oyster next week?
I think so. We're gonna get one and split it between us.
Yes, sir. We got real tickled. Y'all know the oyster story. We're sitting at the breakers, right? We're sitting at the breakers, and the rates are great, what they give them, Deb. That's incredible, the rates. But we're getting ready to get an oyster, and we're sitting there, and I said, how much are these oysters? And they said, $10 for an oyster. So we've laughed about it, so we're gonna get one and split it. And the bartender's been there 30 years. He's great. I mean, you sit there and it's just fun. But we learn a lot. That is very, very, very informative. And we get recognized, for the Florida Municipal Electric Association, this organization here is really, we shine, don't we, Ephraim?
Yeah, we do.
You've been there and hear them speak. So, Commissioner Vine, anything you got to say?
I'm good.
Thank you, sir. Good. Hey, excellent job on the responses to Ms. Martin, Commissioner Martin. Thank you. That was very, very good. And thank you for your time to ask. I mean, it even helps us. Okay? Anything else? Ephraim, you got anything to say? Anything?
I will be on a panel discussion at the FMEA conference for affordability and reliability.
Nice.
Okay, you will?
Which
So
day?
we need to go to that and see you, okay, affordability and reliability.
I'm
Which day is that?
shocked. Reliability, you never use that word up here.
I believe it's the first day
good.
after the general session, I believe. So.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. I think this workshop was very, very productive. I hope y'all do. I feel very good about it. Thank you. Again, thanks, Commissioner Devine. Appreciate everybody. Look forward to seeing you at that meeting, watching Ephraim. Thank you. Call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.